June 17th, 1503. Today, I suddenly remembered my encounter with the old sailor that changed my life so drastically.
Listen to my tale.
I recall every single word, as if it happened just yesterday.
I wanted to go to sea. As our ship left the harbor, the air was filled with tension, and I was almost feverish with excitement. I imagined exploring faraway lands of breathtaking beauty in the coming months. One day, a loud scream woke me from my daydreams. "Sea monster ahead!" The most horrible creature I had ever seen was writhing in the water, and the blood froze in my veins when I saw it pull one of my men into the briny deep. As if this misfortune had not been enough of a tribulation, a terrible storm hit us a few days later, and we prayed to the Lord for help. After the storm had raged for days and nights, the Lord finally led us into calmer waters. Yes! Land in sight! This time, the lookout's call expressed relief. We had reached our goal.
Why should we believe you? Yeah.
Well, see for yourself. I made an exact map of the region where we landed. We loaded our carts to transport all of our belongings into the interior of the country. When we finally found a suitable area, we started our settlement. Our cities grew rapidly in size and reputation. Trade also began to flourish.
This was the end of his tale.
Oh, look!
I guarded the old sailor's charm like a treasure, and was determined to discover foreign lands just like him. After many years passed, I became a captain and commanded a ship of my own.
Cast off! Ready to sail!
In January, we hoisted anchor. We have been at sea for months now, and hope to find land soon.
And land we did find. And with that, guys, girls, and NB pals, welcome back to Anno and Shell. This time, we will be diving into the second installment of the Anno franchise, Anno 1503. So we're going even more medieval, and we will be introducing some new gameplay mechanics, which, to put it mildly, were quite controversial with the Anno community. But without much further ado, instead of talking much, let's dive straight into it with the easy difficulty, because we ended 1602 with so much money, I feel like we've earned it. And we will actually be starting with less than we ended up in 1602 with. 500,000, and we've already got our first island, which is massive. Good for us, because we're going to be building a super big city, the biggest we've seen so far, certainly bigger than in 1602 with its 2,500 aristocrats. And we're going to be needing all those islands, maybe even that one, to be sure. But who are you? You look like a competitor. No worries. So, the first thing we need to do, I would have said, would be to find an island. I think we can check that. Build a warehouse. Check. And then start up our production lines. We also have a ship full of stuff, should we run out of it prematurely. But first things we need is a fisherman's hut. There we go. Now, the first gameplay change that was debatable but not really controversial was the fact that, as you can see in the little preview window on your right, there's these little green arrows, and if you wanted to connect a building to your road network and therefore to the warehouses, the road would have to hit one of those green arrows. Otherwise it wouldn't count as connected. So we need to make sure that once we place this here, I want to is a road to that back part here. Preferably all along it, because we will run this road all along the coast, so that doesn't really matter here. But it will further down the line. And the next order of business then straight away is to build a forester's hut. Because we do need wood after all. And again, mind the arrows. This little makeshift path here with the dreadboards. That's where we're supposed to be building it. And we shall. Might even do a second one. That's it, we've got enough. Yeah, we've got enough wood here and on the ship to last us for a while, so maybe he will keep up in time. Now, next big thing is to build a marketplace, and that is going to be the center of our town, or at least the first center of our town. So we can't really be building it too far out. I want to say let's build it. Hang on, how big are the houses here? 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. Okay, that's big. 4 by 4. Yeah, 4 by 4 squares. So that's massive. Which means 4, 2, 3, 4, and then here. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This would then be the next one. Okay. Then there is this marketplace here. And that brings us straight to the second big change, and this is the most controversial one. The marketplace doesn't really do much anymore. But what does do stuff is the stands, especially food and leather stands. Food and salt stands, and cloth and leather stands. These are going to be the replacement for tax income, because there's no such thing as taxes anymore, but rather these stands. And now, it's time to build some houses. That is, if you don't misclick. Let's go for 7, just to be on the safe side here with tax, with income, not tax income, mind you. So our first town is taking shape. The town of Lantau. Arguably a better name than Abramsburg, but we grew quite fond of Abramsburg, I would say. And already new demands have popped up, and also a hint that tells us we have building materials on our ship. We knew that already. So, new demands have popped up, as I said. They want leather and cloth. How can we fulfill those? Well, you will hear those market shouts a lot. Not sure if I'm a big fan of them being so frequent, but they are there, and I think they add to the atmosphere quite a lot. So we need a hunting lodge, we need sheep farms, and we need a lot of manufacturing buildings as well, because hunting lodges and sheep farms will do a lot, but they will not satisfy the demands here, because that stuff needs to be processed. Before we do that though, there is another game mechanic that we need to explore. A new scouting system, which quite literally now employs a scout rather than the ship just looking at the island funny. So let's send the scout over to this mountain range and see what we got there.
It is an honor for us.
Let's see what you find. So I'm loving the detail on the models of the buildings. They look sort of realistic in size as well. I mean, people are still a bit too large for my taste.
Yes, Captain.
But at least it looks slightly more realistic than in 1602. And of course the resolutions of the buildings are way higher, way more detailed.
There is ore on this island.
And we found our first ore. Is it? It's iron, yes. As expected. I wasn't counting on gold.
We are on our way, sir. An ore deposit has been discovered.
2 of them, lovely. I haven't played this enough back in the day to remember off the top of my head if there is such a thing as a deep iron mine or if everything is just infinite here.
The island offers salt. A marble deposit has been discovered.
Salt and marble, okay. Salt is the new one, so is marble.
Order and we shall obey.
Wonder what they are good for. We cannot even build salt works here. We have more stuff in those 2 mountains, and we also have this one back here and this one and these mountains here. So I want to scout all of them today.
There is ore on this island.
More ore, so I think ore should not be a problem anytime soon. Once again, Anno is proving itself to be one of those games where you can just not play and still have a fantastic time.
We shall obey. Where to?
It's just looking at it is so satisfying and so relaxing.
We are going, my king.
That's money. Minus 76. Okay, we might need to adjust that a bit.
Rich ore deposits.
More? Okay. We didn't even find that one on the first go round. So that's 4 already. Plus salt, plus marble. Good to know. Finally, these trees have grown. Now, can we see? Yeah, okay, so we're getting in some revenue from the food sales. Once we start producing salt and cloth and leather, that will dramatically increase because those 2 are way more expensive and way more profitable for us then than food and salt. While we wait for that, let's load all that wood and the food and the tools into our warehouse. Still have some left over, so tools should not be running out. We still have 71 tons of tools left over and you only have 17 storage capacity. That's gonna work out just fine. But first order of business, once we have the capacity to build an iron mine, should be to build just that. Also, all this farmland, look at it. I mean, I don't even know how large in terms of area the actual town is going to be and how much of that we need is farmland. But we have a lot of space, way more than Anno 1602 offered, with its large islands.
An ore deposit has been found.
Lovely. Okay. What about this one? Can you move, please?
On our way, my king. Yes, my king.
They are a tad bit weird to control.
Yes, sir.
Also, I don't know what this dry patch back here is supposed to say. But I wouldn't want to grow crops on here in this region. Oh, also, something that I didn't even realize just yet. There is terrain differences. You remember in Anno 1602 the islands were just pan flat, and here we actually have... It can't really be seen right here, but once we start to build buildings and roads up here, you will see there is some slight gradients. Can I even show you yet? No, it's out of reach, but maybe you can see from the highlighting that it's angled. So we can build roads here across that, but not fields, not buildings. That's going to be a weird challenge to fit all that in quite neatly.
On our way, my king. How may we be of service?
Has our competitor done stuff yet? Doesn't look like it. We'll see. Mind you, why don't we just sail over there and have a chat?
Orders for the fleet, Commander?
Oh damn, the soundtrack of this game is just beautiful. Leaning very heavily into those medieval vibes, but I like it. It's very appropriate for the 1503 setting. So what do we have here?
This island contains ore.
Oh, lovely. We're going to be producing all the tools we could ever possibly wish for.
Yes, sir.
But while that scout is on the way to the last mountain range, let's see what our citizens want. They want leather, they want cloth, they will also want a tavern, which means alcohol, which we can do on the potato fields. Of course, they're not just happy with beer, they want whiskey straight away. Great. And then a church. Chapel. I wonder if we also will get to a cathedral. I know that there's also a palace that's this time is more modular. In Anno 1602 it was just one building. This time I think there are several parts of the building that you can combine to make the most beautiful, adequate palace. But there's definitely not just a chapel, but there's also a church. I'm guessing there will also be a cathedral, but I'm not sure. We'll have to see. And then there is Yeah, that's for leather and cloth. That's for fishers, warehouses, salt mine. We need to build a salt mine and the salt works to satisfy that demand that will pop up. Otherwise, why would we need a food and salt stand? And then once we've hit all those demands, they will ascend to settlers, and that will give us the opportunity to produce iron and tools, which we should use as soon as we possibly can. Speaking of which. Oh, you have done nothing yet. Okay. Not exactly competition, are you? Yeah, I think we can go back home.
This island has rich ore deposits. The fleet is moving, Commander.
So, more ore.
At your
Something over
service,
here.
my king. There is iron ore on this island.
Even more. But no more salt. Okay, that's... I think 7 is quite enough, though.
We are waiting for your order.
Right, so that is the plan for next episode. Produce leather, produce cloth, produce salt, produce whiskey, ideally produce tools, and then build a chapel, build a tavern, and our citizens should be very happy with us for the future. And to the sounds of the old Anno 1602 main theme, I now bid you farewell. Thank you very much for watching the first episode of Anno 1503. See you in part 2 when we do all that. Until then, have a good one, and bye-bye.